Hello, my name is Natalie Herrera, and I'm going to be your therapist today.
Hi, my name is Andrea Navarro.
Andrea, it's nice to meet you, and what do you like to be called?
Andrea is fine.
Okay, that sounds good. How did you find my office?
It was good. There was a little bit of traffic, but I made it.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. And how are you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Doing okay? Alright, well, I just want to begin by telling you what my role is going to be in therapy, and that's going to be to ask you questions. And your role is going to be to answer honestly and openly, and that way we can work together to make improvements. How does that sound?
That sounds good.
Alright, and now before we continue, I want to tell you about the Confidentiality Agreement. So that means that everything that you say here is between me and you. It's completely confidential. There are a few instances, though, in which I will have to report something, and that's in the case of child abuse, child neglect, or sexual abuse.
Okay.
I also want to let you know that keeping you safe is one of my main priorities. So if you ever feel like you're going to harm yourself or harm others, you can come to therapy and we can talk about that. This is a safe place for that.
All right.
Okay. Well, now that we've straightened that out, I want to talk to you about the agenda. Setting the agenda is something that we'll do at the beginning of each session. That way, we'll know what we need to talk about and what's most important, and we can use our time wisely. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, on today's agenda, we have a mood check, talking about the problem, setting some broad goals, and getting some feedback. How does that sound?
It sounds really good.
Is there anything else you would like to add to the agenda?
Nothing that I can think about right now.
Okay. All right. So, why don't you tell me what you're expecting from therapy? What are your hopes?
Just so that I can be happier and to solve all of my issues.
Okay, be happier and solve your issues. And I'm curious to know, what do you know about therapy?
Just that it's like a place where people can go and talk about their problems and solve their problems.
That's exactly what it is. Have you had therapy in the past?
No, this is my first time.
Okay, well, I look forward to working together with you, Andrea.
All right.
So, why don't you tell me how this past week has been?
It's not been too good. I've been really sad lately.
You've been really sad? Okay, so on a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the least sad and 10 being the most sad, how were you this week?
Like a 7.5.
A 7.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so there was a couple of different things that affected your mood throughout the week, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll get to those in a minute and discuss those more thoroughly. But I want to go over the paperwork that you filled out in the last session.
Okay.
So, looking over it, I wanted to let you know that, Andrea, you do have depression. And I want to let you know that this is a serious illness. It's not like when people are jokingly saying that I'm depressed and I'm just like so depressed and so sad. What you have is real. Okay, the symptoms that you're feeling and the problems that you're having, they're a result from your depression. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want to let you know that the therapy that we're going to be doing, cognitive behavioral therapy, is to work on your depression and to improve it and to change it. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some of the things that were going on this week. Could you tell me some of the problems that you've been having?
Yeah. So I was having a lot of anxiety over a test and my grades, and I was kind of upset at one of my friends because I was walking on the promenade and I stopped to say hi, and she kind of just like blew right past me, and that just made me really upset because, like, I don't know if she was mad at me, like if I did something to make her mad, or if she was just ignoring me just to be mean.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to talk about those feelings, those thoughts that you were having, but I'd like to go back first to what you said before about having anxiety over tests.
Yeah.
How are your grades?
Not great. They're pretty bad. Okay,
so would you say that maybe one of the broad goals that we could have throughout our therapy is improving your grades?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to write that down so we can start making a list of those goals, okay?
All right.
So that's going to be improving grades.
Okay.
Okay. Is there another broad goal that you would like to add? that you can think of?
I guess just trying to socialize more because I've been hanging around in my room like pretty much by myself a lot lately.
I think that's a great idea. So hanging out more with friends, that's so great. These are some great broad goals. Okay, Andrea, let's go back to what you were telling me before about what happened with your friend on the promenade. So, just to clarify, you were walking by, you wanted to say hi to her, and she just quickly said hi and just kept going on her way, kind of brushed past you.
Yeah.
Okay, and what was going through your mind at that time?
Just maybe she was mad at me for me doing something, or maybe she just doesn't like me, and I just, I don't think that we're friends.
Okay, so those are a couple of different thoughts that were running through your mind.
Yeah.
She doesn't like me, that we're not friends, that I did something wrong, right?
Yes.
Okay, so, in the past, have you and this friend had problems?
No, we haven't.
You haven't? And when was the last time you guys hung out together?
I can't remember. Maybe like a few weeks ago with some other friends.
A few weeks ago with some other friends? Okay. You guys really, in the past, you haven't had any problems?
No, we have not had any problems.
Okay, so, how do you think that your thoughts affect the way that you feel?
I guess, a negative thought make me feel bad about myself and sad, and I guess positive thoughts make me feel happy.
Andrea, that's a great explanation, and that's exactly what cognitive behavioral therapy is all about. CBT is about changing those thoughts, those incorrect thoughts, or maybe not so true thoughts. So that's what we're going to be doing, is working together to change some of the thoughts that you've been having so we can improve your mood and emotions. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so in the instance with your friend, you thought all these negative thoughts, but you previously haven't had any problems with her. So is it safe to say that it's a possibility that maybe those thoughts aren't completely true?
I guess so.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, can you think of another time in the week where maybe you had a strong emotion?
I guess I was in class and they were having like a group discussion type thing. I didn't really understand the material, what they were talking about, so I just felt really dumb.
Okay.
And not, like, I just...
And you felt really dumb, and did that make you feel sad?
Yeah, I just felt excluded.
Okay, see, that's another good example of CBT. And for your homework, I'd like you to make note of the times when you feel those ways, when you have the strong emotion, and I want you to write down what's going through your mind. Do you think that you can do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that. So we're coming to the end of our time together today, and I'd like to summarize what we've talked about today. We went over your diagnosis of depression. You told me how your week was going. We discussed in depth some negative thoughts that you had and how that made you feel sad. And, you expressed to me how your thoughts affect your mood, and you have a clear understanding of that, and that's really great. And we're going to be working together in the future on that.
Okay.
We also set some broad goals. And those, could you remind me what those goals were?
Improving my grades and hanging out with friends.
Exactly. And could you remind me again what your homework assignment was?
To write down when I have a bad thought about myself that will make me feel sad.
Okay, so exactly, identifying when you feel all of a sudden sad, and then writing down, what was I thinking in that moment?
Okay.
Okay, I'll write that down for you on a card. So could you tell me a little bit about how the session went for you? It's time for some feedback.
It went really well. I feel like you listened to me, and I feel like what we're doing, which is CBT, I feel like it's going to be really good.
Okay, and how much did you trust me today in our session?
At the beginning, because we just met. But now I feel more comfortable. I feel like I can really talk to you.
I'm glad to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that you're being honest with me, Andrea, and I think we'll be able to work together. I look forward to seeing you again at the same time next week. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, I'll see you next week.
All right. See you. Bye.